Thank you, Chairman. We've got one apology, and that's from Councillor Warlock.
Thank you for that, Kathy. Declarations of interest? Any declarations of interest? No, good. I have one announcement to be made, which you all know about, which we're going to delay Chapel Bungalow and Derby Green to the end of the meeting, and I'm going to call for a closed session. Right. We now go to you, Louise. So off you go.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, all. Just to go through the main report first, I'm just going to give a quick outline of the last 3 months in terms of what's been happening with the team and projected changes that have just started and are about to happen. It's been a very busy quarter. It's also had its difficulties. We've had that is still starting to die down, but we had quite a bit at the start of this last quarter. Lots of people thinking they could cut down protected trees. That seemed to be an ongoing issue, which required either of the officers to sort of go out immediately, put down whatever else they were dealing with. But that, touch wood, that does seem to have come to an end now. We've also been quite busy with concerns of several reports about unauthorised encampments being set up, concerns over the sudden creation of hard standing areas. There were several reports, one will be discussed later, which actually ended up warranting a temporary stop notice and a preemptive injunction being served. So that was good work, but obviously took up some time. It does have an impact on the team because obviously if one officer is out and that the other officer is then covering everything else that's coming in. We also had a period of approximately, well, it was just under 6 weeks where we've had one person off all the time, either through leave or sickness. So that obviously has an effect. Sharon's now down to 3 days. She's semi-retired, but she is still with us 3 days. And Sylvia is just starting 3 weeks of annual leave. So apologies, I know Sylvia's normally here, but apologies from Sylvia today. I've also lost time, unfortunately, due to illness, and I've got ongoing. My hours have been slightly not reduced, but revised for the since January, as I've been having medical appointments 3 times a week.
Your husband?
No, me.
Oh, you?
Me, 3 times a week. That's ongoing, but hopefully will come to a close about the end of May. So unfortunately, that sort of. So I'd like to apologise in advance because some of the cases on the list probably haven't progressed as much as you would like to see. I'm very much aware of that. But we have had lots of other positive results which we'll relay to you throughout the course of the meeting. And apologies from me that following a review with Toller on Friday, 2 cases on the list, which I'll go through when we get to them, have been updated as being passed to legal, but they're actually still needing just a final, some final work from me. So I just want to apologise for that error on my part. And as the chairman's already said, we've got 2 cases which we need to discuss in closed session. On the another positive though is that when Mark is back from leave, we will be advertising for a full-time officer in addition to Sharon and Sylvia. So that will give us a lot of additional resources because it will be the budget's been approved to be able to get an experienced officer, not a trainee post again. So we will get somebody that will be able to come in and start with the workload straight away. So that's a positive. Okay.
Have you thought about succession and perhaps getting a trainee in?
I think
it seems to me to be quite sensible that, okay, we're a small council. You've got 3 experienced or 2 very experienced, or adding a third, seems to me to be a good idea to get a recruit in to train them up so that we know that 1 or 2 of the other. We've already got Sharon on part-time, and it is likely that Sylvia will do likewise fairly soon. And therefore, thinking about the future, we ought to get things organised sooner rather than later.
Oh, yes, Chairman, I can totally agree. we have, we have considered that, and that will also be something that we were hoping to do, get the budget for. We felt that it would be more helpful to get an experienced officer in first, because they can also take up some of the work. Obviously, with Sharon going down to 3 days, they can help with that, but they can also help train a new trainee officer. But we will look at that is certainly something that we will be looking to do once we've done that. The other thing, I also look after trees, so I think most of you will have dealt with Lloyd at some point. But we're also getting a trainee posting for the as a tree officer as well, so that will also help with some of the work issues that work resources.
The tree officer is contracted in, is he?
Yes, Lloyd. Yes.
Is he here for very long?
Yes, he'll be here for the next 2 years, and we're looking at getting an officer post that he will train and mentor as well. So that will provide additional resources in terms of the trees and protection of, and checking the TPOs and renewing those as well. So that will be good additional resource within the enforcement team as well.
I'm worried about trees. We're getting a bit stupid about them, but there we are. Richard, you had a point.
Just to make the, I hope, fairly obvious point that with local government reorganisation on the horizon, that might be an argument for not committing to employing anybody as a trainee until the future is clearer and we've got the new structure sorted out.
Maybe, but we've got 2 years to go. I take your point, Richard, but bear in mind that the same sort of work is going to have to be done. They're going to have the same sort of people, and nobody's under any illusions that any of our officers will be made redundant. They'll all be tupied over to the new agreement. So let's plan ahead let's think about it sensibly and plan about it, because under no illusions, all our officers are going to be employed in the new authority. So I think it's worthwhile. Your point is made. I take it, but I don't think it's relevant in this particular case. But you're on the cabinet, so it's your decision. I'm just passing on what I feel. I feel we should be structuring, take over all the responsibilities that we have into the new authority with a proper complementary team. Right, Louisa, back over to you.
Okay, thank you. So moving on to the main report, just to confirm some of the figures that you've already received. We currently have 171 live cases. Those are those under investigation or going through the process of formal action or have an appeal against an enforcement notice, and 37 cases, an additional 37 cases when notices have been issued. But those notices, as it says in the report, include enforcement notices, planning contravention notices, or the notices we use to request further information under section 16 or 330 of the legislation. In the last quarter, we received 43 new requests to investigate alleged breaches of planning control. Despite everything that's been going on in the last quarter, the officers were closed 35 cases, which was fantastic. We issued 2 planning contravention notices, 2 enforcement notices, and a temporary stop notice, which we'll go into further detail of shortly.
Louise, just as an aside to these numbers,
yeah,
you've got 43 new cases. How many of them are trivial?
Off the top of my head, I would say probably at least 50%.
Yeah, because
of neighbours, a lot of it can be. A lot of the time the officers will go out, it doesn't need planning permission, or it's permitted development, or it may be quite often it's a highways matter. That's another thing that we get called out, but a lot of them are not relevant or very, very trivial. Yeah. So we do sometimes have to take a view that it might be a very small breach, but perhaps it's a technical breach, and it's just not expedient for us to pursue in terms of the time that it takes to get an application. But we do we do get a lot of them which are very, very minor.
Yeah, okay, right, yes. Carry on with your report.
And so that's the main figures from the main report. So I'll move on to the details of the cases now on the second part of the part 2, appendix 2, sorry. So starting as usual with Hares Farm, land south of Beechcroft. This is one that's been ongoing for a while now. You'll recall that we've had the High Court injunction and the planning enforcement appeal hearing. On the injunction side of things, process of cost recovery is ongoing. We don't have any further update at the moment, other than once Mark is back off holiday, we will be having a meeting with Louise and legal, just to say how much we are at costs already and trying to reclaim those costs where we sit, and what would perhaps be more sensible action going forward, because obviously the time, you know, the longer you're trying to reclaim those costs back, it costs more money. So we'll be getting an update from that. But at the moment, we haven't had any costs recovered.
How many dwellings are there on this land? Just the one?
Yeah, it was just the one that they were living in.
Right.
That has stopped. That has stopped. Residential use has ceased. So that's good.
Mm.
In terms of the planning enforcement appeal and the notice, as it says in the report, residential use has ceased. The notice has not yet been fully complied with. There are several of the minor issues that still need to be addressed. This is includes the removal of the hard standing area at the entrance to the site. The owner is now saying that he believes some of that is permitted development. We are in discussion with Shared Legal Services. He should have raised that, had plenty of time at the appeal, the hearing, and also some of the removal of the telegraph poles that belong to the electricity board. So they are in discussion, but most importantly, that residential use has ceased, and that's good.
Next item, we're going to delay to the end, the close of the meeting. Yes.
Big Meadow / Wingate Lane along Sutton. I've had an update from Mark and Sylvia on that site. There has been a meeting within the last quarter. We are still awaiting a draft 106 agreement and revised landscape drawings for review from the developer prior to the new application being submitted, and the resolution of other matters. I think Mark's probably briefed you in previous meetings about the 106 contributions towards affordable housing, transfer of land to the parish council, and still the need for the resolution of the drainage issues. And Mark's update included that once approved and there is a clear timeline and monies are paid and the drainage issues are resolved, then we can look to lifting the injunction. And although we've had promising reassurances from the developer, we've not got an application in as yet. So that's from Mark.
That's an ongoing thing, definitely. Yes. But it's slowly being resolved, which is the main thing. Yes, we're getting there. That's okay. Great.
Land at 5 acres. This is the first of the two cases that I apologise for, that it's actually on review with Toller. They're actually sat with me rather than legal. We've done all the welfare checks if we've discussed previously. I now need to do a covering witness statement, just detailing all of those. So as a matter of priority, we will get those done and back over to legal services. So I apologise, as I said, that on Friday that came up that was back with me. So my apologies for that. It's just a covering witness statement that collates the correspondence and the welfare checks to say, as an officer, this is what I did.
Do the welfare checks stand up?
The welfare checks stand up in that we can demonstrate we've asked them. They haven't provided what we asked as part of that, but that will be detailed within my witness statement. But more importantly, we can demonstrate that we have made that request.
And have you chased it up?
I did as part of that process, but I wouldn't do so again now because I believe that we can demonstrate that we've asked more than once and we haven't had anything back.
And they haven't given any reason why they haven't replied.
No.
Some people are a bit silly, aren't they? They're trying to delay things, obviously. So that will turn out to be, you will be going for them in the end. Yeah.
Once that we've done that final task, that will be the file complete. You're the instructed officer on that case, aren't you, Zola? So you'll be able to then finalise your review, and the file will sit, yes, with them.
Happy days, Todd. Okay, that's progressing. That's slowly coming to resolution. Right. London Road Hook.
Yes. So again, there has been some delays, unfortunately, from the developer's point of view. I think they've had issues with leave, etc. as well. But I've spoke to my contact at the developers with Estelle there, and they are putting that application in, and that will be in by the end of the month. If we don't receive anything by the end of the month, would you like me to let you know so that it's perhaps what I wanted to ask is if we don't receive an application, obviously we've got a big interest in this as a subcommittee.
Yes.
Would you like to know prior, or would you not want to wait a whole quarter before you?
I think it might be advisable to advise us what you're doing, what they're doing.
Yeah.
And fine. But this has been going on for far too long. The people in Hook really do want to see that pathway organised properly, and it needs to be done before the winter when all the flooding comes out. And what are the new proposals? Have you any idea what they are?
As Sylvia and I have had a meeting with them and relayed all the points and issues that were raised by the ward members when we had a prior meeting with them. So they've got all our what we like, what we don't like, what are the concerns of the parish councils on behalf of the residents. They do have all of that, and that's what we've said that they need to encompass within the application. Or if they don't include that, they need to be able to demonstrate or justify why they haven't done that. Otherwise, that's just going to delay that application. That's what we've done. We've done our part in terms of passing on that information on behalf of the ward members. But at this moment, I can't say all of that's going to be in the application. We won't know until they
generally. Are they going to have an elevated path with proper barriers?
It will be to keep what's there, the boardwalk that's there, not replace it yet.
And extend it in such a way that people can pass.
We've raised that there should be there are sections that they would want would like to see widened for access, and we also said about the rumble strips, the covering that was on the slats, how it's going to be maintained throughout the time, so all those issues that the councillors raised with us, we have passed. And
are they going to have barriers on the side of
Again, that was an issue that we did say that there was concern of people, coming through that gap. So we told them that was a concern. They definitely made a note of it, and we put it back we did the minutes of the meeting, and they've had those details within the minutes as well. And I said that unless a lot of those points were included in any application, they were likely to receive objections. So, but I can't guarantee what they're going to put in an application until they actually submit
this is, of course, in Jane's area, so and she can't be here. But I think we ought to recognise that we defend what the people in Hook really want to see. The management of the boardwalk is going to be a problem. There is a management company on that site, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's something that seems to be okay. Any other comments on that? Good. Thank you, Louise. Okay. Next one is Swallow Common.
Swallow Cottage, yes. So we've been in discussion with the agent who wants to submit a revised application, which may be more agreeable than the refused one, so that we had updated. We hadn't had that application as yet. We did request an update on that just prior to the report being prepared, but we haven't had anything yet. But Having spoken to the agent, we feel that that application will be submitted.
Are you happy with it?
If we get what we were thinking we might, then it may be more agreeable, yes.
Will this be a delegated decision, or will it have to come to committee?
It may well come to committee, I think, given it depends, again, it depends.
Depending its history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yep.
And again, and land north of Winchfield, moving on to that one. This is the second of the two cases, again, where we've done all the welfare checks, but I now just need to do a covering witness statement to pass over from Toller. So I'll be doing that this week for her.
They haven't submitted welfare checks either.
We've done it all. We've asked the information, but they've not given anything to us to demonstrate. But again, as with the other case, we can demonstrate that we've asked, that we've made those checks. So,
any comments on that, Toller?
Not really, Chair.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So that's ongoing. Gosh, that's been going on for such a long time.
Yes, yeah, but we are very nearly there. It's just this final. As I said, it was on review with Toller. That sits with me. Sorry for that. I just got that last the covering witness statement to collate those statements together.
Yeah, but I don't know whether you all know what the history of this site, but the land there has been sort of doing nothing for the last goodness knows how long, ever since Winchfield Hospital site was developed. And they've been trying to build on it. The owner of the site owns the roads around Winchfield Court. He then decided to sell off this site with 7 plots, with the understanding that planning permission had been given, which of course it wasn't. So an awful lot of people bought these plots. 7 people, well, no, I think 4 people bought these plots, because one guy bought 3 plots. And having bought the 3 plots, he started to make access to the road, Pale Lane. He then started to level the site and put caravans on it and all sorts of things. He originally applied for a number of them, and 2 other people have applied for houses to be built there. But it's right in the middle of the countryside. Winchfield Court don't want it, and they're very in contravention of all building and planning issues. So that's the situation there, and it's been going on for at least 4 years. Right. Next one, Louise.
Is Granary Court. Of Sharon's prosecution report's been prepared, and it's with Shared Legal Services. Sharon has been asked to send some further correspondence to advise of pending court action to the site owner. And it's just to give them a final opportunity to carry out works, isn't it, Toller? As I understand, I did speak with Sharon on that. She has been she's been actually doing the temporary stop notice and the injunction that we're going to discuss shortly. She's aware that legal have asked, but it's just to do that final correspondence that you've asked for, isn't it, Toller?
Yeah, and just to update her witness statement.
Yeah.
This is the one where they want to they want an access to the site.
Yes, yeah.
And they're not prepared to put it into decent shape.
Yeah. Sharon will be, her working days are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday and Thursday we'll be getting ready for the issue in court on Thursday. So hopefully she'll be able to have a chance to do that on Friday. But priority will be for Derby Green Lane for tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay.
21 Eltham Bridge, that's been positive. We have now granted the certificate of lawfulness application for the change of use of agricultural land.
Hooray, that's 1 hour
For yes, so that's good news, good result, and well done for Sylvia for persisting with that. But it's all regularised, and that's a good one. Okay. Yes.
Yes, Wendy.
So just on that one, I would like for the record to state, I know it's not my area, it's your area. None of this delay was anything to do with the Heart officers. They have been, well, Sylvia has just been so tenacious and so patient and calm with it. And I think that's all credit to her and the team.
Yes, I have to echo that we have a very, very good enforcement team. And I hope Mark steps up to the plate well as well. We will.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes, I entirely agree with you, Wendy. Thank you for that.
Myesta land. Again, I feel that this is one that Sharon's been the officer on this one. There's been lots of positives happened on that, as we reported last time. The mobile home, which was the main contentious matter, that's been removed. The site's been tidied. The barns have been cleared. The last remaining issue is there is some hoarding around the front of the site.
Yeah.
It doesn't look the best. It is slightly over height, but it does also hide, so we are trying to deal with that and get it's sort of a catch-22. If we get them to reduce the height, we lose control over getting them, we probably wouldn't be able to get them to paint it or tidy it, because then it would be okay height-wise and vice versa. But I also think, that's probably going to go in time anyway, but we haven't forgotten it. We are still sort of plugging on that. But although it does remain on the list, that is the last item. But I just wanted to give recognition. I know we mentioned it last quarter, but it is really, Sharon's done well on that site as well. And
this is in your area, isn't it, Wendy?
Yeah, and it's a contentious site because it's got a lot of history, and actually what Sharon has managed, well, Sharon and Louise have managed to get them to do, I personally feel it's enough, and it's good enough for where we are, because they do want to develop that site at some point, and that is their ultimate goal. We just have some residents who are very unhappy historically about how things have been managed or not managed, and so I think they can't let go of the negative feeling for it. So
on the west side of the lane, isn't it?
Yes, as you come down to
there are lots of houses on the east side of the lane anyway.
Yeah. So yeah.
Are they likely to object to a development on that site?
Who can tell? Who can tell?
That's a very diplomatic way of describing it, Wendy. Okay, so yes. I must admit the hoardings do look a bit unsightly. As I drive past that from time to time.
But as Louise says, they are screening quite a lot. So if they come out, the site could look even worse, and then we won't be able to do anything for that, because that's a private site.
Yeah.
So my view is help them to make the hoardings look better and leave them at slightly over height, and at least it's a tidier roadside view. But we see what they come to.
Yeah.
There's your answer.
Yes, I'm trying to get them to paint them. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
really
so
good.
Although it remains on the list, it was just really just to highlight we've done a lot of the big stuff. It's the real last minor issue that remains now. Vantage House, Silver did that, as you know, we had 4 appeals. Silver's in the statement. We are still just awaiting those appeal decisions to come through from PINS now, hopefully. Things do seem to be coming through quicker from PINS, so hopefully we'll get those at some point.
All it is the habitat regulation mitigation that they've got to sort out.
The size, yeah, the two of the units are undersized as well, but there could be, you know, possible remedial measures there that they take, but it would mean losing one of the units if they put them into one.
But from a practical point of view, what's the issue with this?
Well, they were created without the correct planning permission in place, or they didn't meet the requirements of the planning that was granted. The size is an issue, but it's a creation of small residential units that aren't in line with our planning policies. So we can't, you know, we do need to monitor that. And there's also there were other, you know, not just for planning, but wanted to, obviously there was also concerns that other regulations had been met in terms of building regs as well. So
Building regs, absolutely. But
yeah.
from a practical point of view, are the planning issues really justified? The fact that there's a building there, they've got lots of flats in there, some are there, they're not being occupied, but they haven't got. If building regs are wrong, then that should be put right, definitely. But what are we going to do with those flats if we find against them?
They would need the facilities within them would need to be removed. The residential use ceased. The facilities within them removed so that they weren't capable of being used for habitable reasons. And not here, but previously I've seen where, you know, fixtures and fittings are removed, and it just goes back to the shell of what it was. So
That's a bit of a waste, isn't it?
there are obviously standards in terms of what people should be allowed to live in terms of space and amenity, and
so they're not big enough.
no.
Right. Okay. That's the only issue. Oh well, in that case, yes.
You know, so you know there are housing standards.
But make two flats into one would be acceptable, or maybe
to us that would probably be acceptable. It's whether the developer wants to lose a rent is, you know, that's why we've sort of had to push it really, because you know, we do have, you know, good strong planning policies in terms of design, amenity and living standards, and once you let one go, it's, you know, it's not.
Yeah, I understand. Richard?
I would just say I think it's really important that we maintain our standards in these respects. I think it's very important that we do maintain our standards in these respects. Some of these former industrial to residential conversions that we've seen have been quite problematic in this district. We need to make sure that they're done properly if they have to be done. So it's important, I think, that we maintain this.
I would entirely agree with that. There are great issues with one or two of the other developments in Hook, where they haven't done the job properly, and I think this is a building regs issue rather than a planning issue. I think, is it not? And any building that's not built to regulation is giving problem. It's likely to give problems, leakages, bad sewage, and all the rest of it. So yes,
well, I think it's both, actually, isn't it?
What?
Both. I think it's both planning and building regs.
Yeah.
Chair, sorry. Louis, I can't remember off the top of my head, but isn't there also the issue of not having made the SANC contribution?
Yes, the SANC, it's the SANC contribution is missing off some of them as well. So there's monies need to either monies or compensation for that needs to be provided as well.
Okay. That sounds as though it's going on.
Yeah, just waiting for the appeal decision. So land adjacent to Briggs on Crondall Road, as the update said, the first enforcement notice that was served not long before the last quarter was actually withdrawn on technicality of wording, but was amended and served fairly soon after. So that notice, that second notice now stands, is in place. That's not yet been appealed. They have got a planning appeal in, and that's got a hearing process applied to it with a date set for the 10th of June. I would imagine, although we haven't heard yet, I'd imagine that they would appeal the enforcement notice and that would be heard at the same time. So we're just waiting to see, as I said, from the enforcement notice point of view, we're just waiting for that notification from BINS that they've appealed.
Anything on that one, Wendy? Okay,
Thank you.
right.
Silver Lee at Cove Road. This was causing some issues at our last meeting. This is the site with the 3 properties were demolished for the erection of a 70-bed care home. We had issues with site levels and how the works were progressing on site. That revised application came in, was approved, and sites and works are still being monitored. That's just ongoing. We haven't had any issues. Had a couple of calls from local residents to say that they were concerned about how the works were progressing, but when the officers have visited the site, they're in line with that application. So we'll continue to monitor that because we know there are concerns about it.
Wendy?
And I think it should be noted, just as this is a public meeting, that again, this is nothing to do with how Hart are managing themselves or what we should or should not have done. This is, and one of the issues is basically because of how the inspectorate handled this when it went to appeal after we refused this. So, you know, this is more work falling on our plate for legal and for enforcement when it just shouldn't have been put through. But anyway, so yeah, well done to our team.
But the site is up. It's all about levels, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so you're going to continue to monitor this and make sure that they do things properly. That's fine. Do we need to take this one off the list? Can we take it off the list?
If you're happy to, we'll just let you know if there are any issues.
I think that, yes, let's do that.
Excellent.
I agree, and I think Nyasaland can come off the list now as well.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Car park adjacent to White Lion Antiques. No, this site's been ongoing for a number of years. I've been going through the history. We wanted to serve a planning contravention notice to just to ascertain interested parties for the different businesses, the activity and the length of time on site. We've prepared a further planning contravention notice has been prepared just because we need to get some more information about the timelines of certain things. We've got some information, but that is an ongoing case. Probably could have made more, again, apologise, probably could have more progress on that one in the last quarter, but hopefully when we meet again, we will have caught up with ourselves and that will have more of an update to give to you. But the planning contravention notice has been prepared, ready to serve on them.
I think it's a matter of urgency that we get that lodged as soon as possible, because we might run out of time. It's been going. Those sheds have been there for a long time, but not, I think, as much as 10 years, but it's getting close to it. And so I think we need to send that as soon as possible so that we don't get caught with our trousers down, as it were. Okay, so that's progressing. Thank you. Now the next one, we're going to delay that one for the time being. Now, yes, Louise.
And that's ready for you to.
Any questions on those issues? No. We're now going into a suggestion. Sorry, Richard. Yes.
I'd like to raise a couple of issues before we go into the closed session.
Yeah. Fine. Carry on.
So there are two things. First is I've had some ongoing correspondence with the enforcement team. I'm not sure which officer I'm talking to actually, because everything's coming back just from the enforcement email address. Yeah, the most recent one didn't, but anyway, but we can find that out. This is about Virgin Media boxes obstructing pathways. So we had two instances of this in Yateley. On the first one, we were fortunate and we got in time. And we persuaded Virgin Media to move that box so it didn't go into the public pathway Unfortunately, at the time, we didn't know that there was a second one, and that has been installed on a public path in Yateley on Tudor Drive, and the resident has complained to me about that. I have raised that with enforcement. Enforcement have tried to contact Virgin Media. They have not yet replied. So we need to follow that up, please, with Virgin.
Can we put that on the list, please?
Yes, I can do. That's no problem.
Thank you
I
very much.
believe that's Sharon.
That's
Just had a
Sharon,
quick
right.
check on it. It's Sharon that's dealing with that. So again, it will probably be towards the end of this week that she can pick it up, just because we're doing things ready for Thursday. But I can, so it's with Sharon. But no, we can pop that on there for you.
Thank you
That's
very
no
much.
problem.
The other one, and apologies, I have not been in correspondence with anyone about this, but that's because I only heard about it yesterday.
Okay.
There was last year a pre-app to change the use of one of the water sports lakes north of Yateley. Currently has planning permission for jet skis and water skiing on it, and they want to replace those with floating holiday homes.
Oh,
And now the pre-app said, they basically put in a pre-app, and part of their submission was to basically say, do we need to apply for planning permission, or can we do this under, I think, a section 192 was the terminology they used. The advice from Hart was, no, you kind of need a planning permission for this. This is a significant, substantial change of use of the site. There is no evidence of a planning permission having been submitted subsequently, but works have now started on site, and there is now evidence of building work going on that site.
is that the jet ski site or the?
That is the jet ski
Right,
site
okay.
on, so it's just south of the River Blackwater.
That's
It's only just in Hart, obviously a few yards over the river and you're into Berkshire, but it's,
Okay.
I think it currently, it's described as being in Eversley on their application. I think it is actually in Yateley, and
Okay.
the land that they're talking about is part of the land that is protected under the Yateley Neighbourhood Plan.
Right.
So I think there are good planning reasons why they shouldn't be doing this, but they appear to be proceeding without planning permission.
Can
We'll
you
get that cased up and we'll look at the history and
maybe put a stop notice on it pretty damn quickly?
okay.
We don't want to delay anything like this. We
Yeah.
don't want to get well down into development without putting a stop notice on them. Stop them as soon as we can, or put in a temporary stop notice for the time being until we've had an opportunity to look at it. So
We will do, I'll just do, we'll do our normal check on the site history, won't it?
Sure.
Because sometimes things come in under different names so we'll always do that just to make sure. And then, but no, I can make, I've got so we'll check that out for you, okay?
Okay.
Can I?
yeah, I
Sorry.
think it's important. Speed is the urgency on that one. Do you not agree, Richard?
Well, I would. If work has now started, then obviously they are, apparently trees are being removed and things like that. So
Yeah.
Chair, can I
Okay.
just,
Can you deal with that as soon as possible, Louise? Thank you very much.
Chair, can I just mention that, Councillor Cotman, you mentioned a section 192 application. That's what they made, that's what the applicants have suggested.
well, so I'm just reading from the application that they put in their pre-app.
Yes.
Let me see if I can find the relevant paragraph. Sorry, this is quite a long document.
I don't think you need to worry about getting into the details. I was just going to say that because you mentioned section 192, and that's section 192 is an application for a certificate of lawfulness of a proposed use. So if they did submit an application, you just need to be aware whether that's been determined.
Yeah.
So that's just for Louise's benefit, just something to look into.
Cool.
So what does a 192 do?
It's an application that somebody can make in the local authority whether the works that they're proposing to carry out will be lawful under either PD rights or development having been commenced. So And once such an application has been made, it's got to be determined. So the local authority has got to give a response to that. It's almost like the Section 191 certificate of lawfulness of existing use, which is evidence-based. So one is of existing use, 191, and 192 is of proposed use. So if that certificate is granted by the authority, then it means they can proceed with the works without planning permission.
Right. Thank you for that, Holly. That's great. So, can we jump on that one?
Yeah, we'll look at that after the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else before we go into closed session? Can I have a vote as to whether we can move to closed session, please? I'll propose. Seconder. Thank you, Wendy. All those in favour? Thank you. That's carried unanimously. So can you switch off the what's bit?
If we could need to go back into conduct to close.
Yes. Right, the first one is Right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending this meeting, and I declare the meeting closed.
Thank you, Chairman.